IVM.
There's a quick survey to fill out on ivmpodcast.com/survey. It lets us know a little bit more about who's listening to us. And you know what? We're going to do a few prizes. So, we'll do a random drawing of maybe 10 people and we'll send you all some swag. Remember, that's ivmpodcast.com/survey where you can fill out the survey.
News Kids on the Block. We're going to use stories that top the nation's papers, fresh from the IVM and Ascend International School desk. Hi, I'm Kavya.
And you were probably wondering, I'm Anya. Well, Anya won't be with us this week as she is currently underway with her mock exams. We do wish her the best of luck, but I'm Trivik and welcome back to News Kids on the Block.
I'll kick us off with a new initiative in Mumbai by Maharashtra's Tourism Minister Anya Daftary, who inaugurated a tap-in tap-out service for Mumbai's BEST buses on Wednesday, officially making it the city's first bus to go fully digital. I quote his tweet, "Inaugurated tap-out service on Gateway of India to Churchgate route. We'll be implementing this in all 10 buses on this route and expanding it on all 438 routes." I think this has many positives, one of them being that public transport is something that is beneficial to the environment. And by making it online, it's obviously becoming a lot more accessible to people all around, especially in an age where everything is so digital. So I think, it's a great initiative. And like he said, it will be expanding. And I can't wait to see how far it goes.
Great story, Kavya. That was a brilliant bit of insight. But with no further ado, let's move into my first story of the day, which is about Raveena Aurora, who becomes the first woman of Indian origin to perform at Coachella. And she performed a surprise cover of Dum Maro Dum from the Bollywood film Hare Krishna Hare Ram in 1971. And at Coachella on the Mojave stage, she performed a surprise cover of Dum Maro Dum from the Bollywood film Hare Krishna Hare Ram 1971, as I just mentioned. Her avatar was of a space princess from the planet Sanatan, as per Aurora's website, as she had also planned to be bejeweled in ornate nose pins and was portrayed as wearing traditional Indian jewelry. This avatar was her interpretation of a space Punjabi princess. She also posted on social media following her appearance. So wild to me that I'm one of the first Indian women to play at Coachella. In fact, she is the first woman of Indian origin. She posted on her official Instagram page saying that, "So wild to me that I'm one of the first Indian women to play Coachella." And in fact, she was the first Indian woman to play Coachella. Thank you to my beautiful band. Love you, Ty, Kale, and Aaron, and the team who made this happen. May there be thousands more.
That's really cool, too, because I know Coachella is something that's really big in the US. So seeing Indian representation there is really great. With that, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back on News Kids on the Block.
Don't you think that if everyone around you is getting smart, you better be smarter? Hey there, I'm the traveling professor Siddharth Deshmukh and I'm back with season 2 of my podcast to make you smarter. Smarter with Sid. What's this season's focus about? Well, it's about 10-minute nuggets that will make you stand out at work. It's time to go from smart to smarter. Tune in every Tuesday and Thursday and become smarter with Sid.
Welcome back to News Kids on the Block. I'm your co-host, Trivik Hariharan, and I'm actually one of 3 hosts, one of whom is still missing. We miss you, Anya. Not really, as I don't have to deal with the snarky comments before I get into my first football story of the day. And this news has just been released today. It is news we've been following for a while, but it has only become official today as the official ManUtd social media accounts have posted. They have finally appointed Erik ten Hag, the AFC Ajax manager, to be their first team head coach from the start of the 22-23 sports season. And I think this is a great appointment. Ten Hag is a brilliant coach. He works well with youth. He coached one of the greatest Ajax teams in recent history, the 18-19 team that went all the way to the semi-finals before losing out on a heartbreaking goal from Lucas Moura in the last minute of the game. Additionally, he's also won several league titles and worked under the tuition of Pep Guardiola back at FC Bayern. He is an outstanding coach, and while I do feel United need more than just a coach, they need their squad to be revamped. They need a mentality revamp. They want to rule the land, and they can't have this complacent mindset that they have and displayed recently in their 4-0 loss against the Jurgen's mighty Reds. Just wanted to slip that in there too. But yeah, I think they need a complete revamp, but this is definitely a good start for the Red Devils.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about football, but I know that's a pretty big deal. So congratulations to ManUtd. The next story I have for you today is about Russia's test launch of a new nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missile, which their president Vladimir Putin said on Wednesday would make Moscow's enemies stop and think. he was shown on TV being told by the military that the long-awaited missile had been test launched for the first time from a northwestern region in Russia, and it hit targets nearly 6,000 kilometers away in the Kamchatka Peninsula. Because this missile had been in development for so many years, it didn't really come as a surprise, but at the same time, it caused a lot of concern because of the fact that Russia has yet to capture any major cities in Ukraine. I quote Putin, "The new complex has the highest tactical and technical characteristics and is capable of overcoming all modern means of anti-missile defense. It has no analogues in the world and won't have for a long time to come." So this is definitely a very concerning and scary thought and development, and really just shows us how much power Russia really has and the capabilities they can have against any country in the world. With that, we'll take a short break and we'll be right back.
Hey everybody, it's been another great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On this round is on me. Gauri talks to friend of the network, Viral Jani. Viral is the EVP and country head for TimesBridge India. He tells us how his company helps marquee global brands set up shop in India. On Paisa Vaisa, Anupam talks to Sairi Chahal, CEO and founder of Sheroes, and Mahila Money. They discuss why women need a fair perspective on finance. On Think Fast, Varun and Suchita take a look at YouTube's interest in podcasting and the new super app Tata Neo. On IVM Likes, Antariksh, Snehal and Sparsh cover all the latest movie releases from Moon Knight to RRR. On Postcards from Nowhere, Utsav traces the history of the clove and how it was smuggled across borders. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcasts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. And remember, if you enjoyed this show or any of our other shows for that matter, do please tell a friend. Also, don't forget to rate us on any of the platforms you're listening to us on. You can check us out on YouTube as well. On ivmpodcast.com/YouTube, we have a list of all of our YouTube channels. Do check out if your favorite show is available as full video. We are also doing a small listener survey to better understand how you respond to our shows and advertising on the network. We'd really appreciate it if you could spare a few minutes to fill it out. It helps us build better shows for you. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors for this week, SBI Life Insurance, India Water Portal, and Jupiter, a digital banking app. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Welcome back to News Kids on the Block. I'm your co-host Trivik Hariharan, and I'm going to be handing it back to Kavya for a back-to-back story.
Thanks, Trivik. This is a very interesting story, and it might not seem as significant as it actually should because it's really reflecting bigger problems that the world is seeing. It is about how now lemons sell at 350 rupees per kilo, with a single lemon costing between rupees 10 and rupees 15. And this is despite the fact that India is the largest lemon producer in the world, and the output of 3.7 million tons is entirely for domestic consumption. And like I said, this may seem like a financial story, and while it is, it's more about climate change and extreme weather changes that we are seeing in today's world. I'll give you a bit of a backstory. So lemons are harvested in 3 batches every year, and the most important harvest is in April, which accounts for 60% of the lemons sold in the market. But for the last year, 2 consecutive harvests, the post-March and the post-April one, failed. The main reason for this is unseasonal heavy rains in both September and October, which are destroying orchards. And the trees that lemons are grown on are extremely sensitive to excess moisture and therefore fail to flower. So the post-March harvest failed. And then because of the soaring temperatures early this year, the post-April harvest was also ruined because of the younger fruits just falling off the trees. And now Gujarat is the second largest producer of lemons in the country. When it was hit by the cyclone in May, the entire harvest was destroyed. And lemon prices will continue to remain this high until the October harvest hits the market. And these weather changes that are happening in today's world and climate change is a problem that is not only going to affect our world and our lifestyles, but also might affect people financially. And for a lot of people, paying 350 rupees to buy a kilo of lemons isn't something that is affordable. So I think really just another example in our everyday world that goes to show why we need some sort of change. I will hand it over to Trivik for our final story of the day.
Well, thank you, Kavya. Our last story for you today comes from the Harry Potter world, as the new movie Fantastic Beasts: The Secrets of Dumbledore has just dropped. And the latest film in the Wizarding World franchise also opened to a franchise low of $43 million over the weekend, spelling trouble for the scandal-ridden franchise that is one of the largest under the newly merged Warner Bros. Discovery umbrella, as per Variety. And this film is the third of the Fantastic Beasts series. It takes a look at the life of Albus Dumbledore before the original set of 9 books and movies which we've seen from J.K. Rowling. it has been considered underwhelming by the public who have seen it so far. I've personally not seen it yet, but I will definitely be taking a look and I will let you guys know once I do.
I think the problem with any sort of Harry Potter sequels is that people kind of feel like by watching these, they're betraying the original Harry Potter. And I have to say, I feel this way too. Like even any book that is in the first 7 or any movie that is in the first 7, 8, I think I just feel guilty watching. So I think that might be a factor that plays a part in stuff like this, but I'd be open to watching this.
I agree, Kavya. I think it just feels also if you competing with those 9 movies and the 8 books which they put out, it's not exactly ever going to be easy. I think that if everything is compared to the original 9
The
movies,
standards are high.
It's unfair, really.
Yeah. That is all we have for you today. We hope you enjoyed this episode of News Kids on the Block. Don't forget to tune in to us every Friday for our fresh take on the news from across the globe.
You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on our social media. We are at IVM Podcast on Twitter and Instagram.
We'll see you next week. But till then, do share this episode with your folks. Stay safe. And don't forget to do your homework.
Love fighting?
We've got you covered.
Check out our show, The Fighting Goat, where we, the voices of the internet, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra, bring to you crazy weekly action on your favorite combat show, The Fighting Goat.
Be it commentary, breakdown, predictions, analysis of styles and techniques.
And of course, your round of favorite fighters.
You can listen to us every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, and all major podcast streaming platforms.
Love fighting?
We've got you covered.
Check out our show, The Fighting Goat, where we, the voices of the internet, Arjun Chipalkatti and Somesh Kamra, bring to you crazy weekly action on your favorite combat show, The Fighting Goat.
Be it commentary, breakdown, predictions, analysis of styles and techniques.
And of course, your round of favorite fighters.
You can listen to us every Thursday on the IVM Podcast app, website, and all major podcast streaming platforms.